What up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So recently, I went out to go see the new film called Gran Turismo, and it's directed by Neill Blomkamp. In case you don't know who Neill Blomkamp is, he's the man that directed District 9, which is one of the best sci-fi movies I've seen. Then he directed Elysium with Matt Damon, which I thought was a pretty solid movie, but not one of his best work. And yeah, he did technically ripped off the same storyline from District 9, but I'll give that a pass. Then he made Chappie, which it was the most forgettable and the most atrocious film that he had made. It's one of those directors who have a bad day at the office. And when I found out that he was directing a Gran Turismo movie, which is sort of like a video game movie, but not really, this is more of a biopic. And yes, Gran Turismo is the most popular simulator racing game. It's supposed to be the most realistic racing game of all time, the most accurate and the most realistic they have ever made. And it became one of the most popular racing game franchise ever. And when I found out about the story about the motorsport executive played by Orlando Bloom, who recruits one of the professional gamers in the world to compete in a real race car event in a motorsport in the world. And he hires on a failed former race car driver played by David Harbour and train these professional gamers into becoming a race car driver and show them what it's like to really being behind the wheel instead of holding the controller. And he's out there to prove them that they don't have what it takes to be a race car driver, because it's a lot different getting behind the wheel of a car than holding the controller. Because once you are behind the wheel of a car, you're going as fast, your body's going to react differently. And if you make a mistake and you make these last minute decisions, there's a chance that you might get screwed and you end up getting in an accident, get injured, or worse, dead. Or another worse thing to happen is that you might accidentally kill someone if you crash into something. And there's no takebacks, there's no reset button or respawn or whatever you want to call it. And it was such an interesting story to tell. And you see this one lead character, and I can't pronounce his name right, but he's the first guy to ever prove the whole world wrong that a professional gamer can actually become a legitimate race car driver and become one of the best race car drivers in the world. This is the guy who actually changed the world. And I didn't know anything about the story. When I saw this in the trailer, I feel like this cannot be real. And then when they said it's a true story, I'm like, wow, they really did. And then they showed the featurette and they showed a real life guy who actually have done that in real life. Like, he actually was a professional gamer that knows everything from the game, from the tracks, from the car parts, all that from top to bottom. And the guy always wanted to become a race car driver. And he's been surrounded by people telling him that he had a dream that made, and he was surrounded by people telling him that he can't do any of those things and that you're going to get yourself killed. He had his father telling him that all the time. And in this movie, the father is played by Djimon Hounsou, and I thought a couple of scenes with him and his son was absolutely incredible. It was so touching. And even though from his point of view, he's all about protecting him, because he does not want to take a risk of him getting hurt or worse, dead. And he thought that the dreams are silly, and he feel like, no, you can't do all those things. You can't just become a professional gamer and then become a race car driver overnight, because you're going to screw up. It's a lot different. But his son is all about proving everybody wrong, including his father. And he's all about doing whatever it takes. And he's fully committed. And he did. Surprisingly, he did. And I thought it was such a well-told story. And also, yeah, does it fall for the same like underdog story trope that we've seen a million times before? Of course it did. But it's one of those times where it's so cliche and it's predictable, but it worked. I loved how it was executed. I love how the writing was. I love the characters. I love the leading actor who's playing the real life character who actually became a race car driver. I thought he really carried the movie. He's one of the fresh-faced actors that I have not seen before, and I thought he carried the emotional weight of the story. And the relationship between him and David Harbour's character was great. I really bought into it. I mean, because this is a guy who failed to become a race car driver, and he's super jaded. He did not believe in any of the professional gamers, including the leading character. And After seeing what he can do, he really made him a believer. He gave him a reason to believe that anything is possible, that anybody can achieve your dreams, and to tell you stick to it and be committed, and not letting people tell you that you can't do any of those things, and telling you no all the time. And I thought it was such a touching story for them to tackle. Overall, this is definitely his best, Neill Blomkamp's best work since District 9. I loved it. And I just really don't understand why the critics are being a little too harsh on this movie. I thought it was great. And I love the cinematography. And I love that drone exterior shot that they during the race. It was so well crafted. I mean, we've seen a lot of action movies that they use a bunch of over exterior drone shots, and it gives you a headache. But in this movie, it did not do any of that. It was very well done and well crafted. And I love the choreography of the racetrack. I love the racing sequences. It put me on the edge of my seat. And fun fact, the leading actor who plays that character is that guy's stunt double. He actually was a stunt double in the movie, and I thought it was like, wow, that was interesting that he did all those stunts in that film, and it was so good. It was very interesting that they'd done that. And I overall, this was such a touching story. This is probably my top 10 or top 5 favorite movies of the year so far. And I was sitting in the empty theater, and it just baffles me that not a lot of people went out to go see it. I mean, yeah, you can arguably say that the trailers were very bland and very generic, and didn't interest a lot of people. And I will say that the trailers did not do the movie justice. I say skip the trailers, forget about what you saw, and just watch the film in full context, and you'll have a lot more appreciation. I thought it had a lot of weight. There was a lot of emotional moments that I got choked up. Performances were incredible. I believed it, and I was not like taken out of it at all. My only negative I would have is that the runtime, it was a little too long, but it's not enough to pull me out of the movie. Overall, I had a great time in the theater. I encourage you to go out and see this in theaters. I really loved it from all the way through. Now, what did you think of this movie? Did you really love this movie? Was it everything you hoped for? Or were you someone that disagrees with me and you thought it was like, nah, it wasn't for me? Jump down in the comment section below and leave me your thoughts. And if you really love this movie, encourage other people to go out and support it. I thought it was a great film, and I think it deserves a lot of attention. Now, if you want to follow me on social media, my link tree will be down in the description down below, and you'll find my social media links there. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos, and it shows you my support, and I would really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great day or a great evening wherever you guys are, and stay safe and take care.